There are very few supplements that we would say are a must when you are on a ketogenic diet, but one that is absolutely a must is electrolytes. We are going to talk about the need for supplementing with electrolytes when you are on a ketogenic or low carb diet. So, hi everybody, Dr. Becky, Dr. Keith, Two Fit Docs. And why don't you go ahead and take it off with explain real quickly what electrolytes are.
Right, because I'm the chemistry guy.
Yes, you are.
So electrolytes are molecules that carry a charge. So salts, acids, and bases in the body all carry charge.
Positive or negatives.
Right, positive and negative. And so typically we think about salts when we think about electrolytes in the body. So sodium, potassium, magnesium, chloride, calcium. There may be some minor ones too. I think there's a hydrogen phosphate and some other things like that. But those minerals are typically the ones that we talk about. And they're important because they help regulate tissue hydration, the pH of the blood. They are important because our bodies are basically an electrical organism in muscle contraction, including the heart muscle, and also the way that nerves send signals. That's all has to do with an electrical signal.
Right. And all of these metabolic processes are taking place in a watery environment. So we need to keep that water in there. And I'll tell you, so our daughter, who's 23 years old, she follows a low-carb diet herself, and she was telling me, actually just today, that she was feeling like has been just a little bit sluggish. And my question to her was, are you taking electrolytes on a daily basis? And she said, no, not really. And then her next question was, how do electrolytes help me stay hydrated? And you had a great answer for that.
Yeah, well, so to salts, electrolytes tend to draw water. So they tend to want to be in more aqueous, liquidy environment. It's kind of similar. I mean, we have a salt shaker. We live where it's fairly humid. If you do too, if you don't do this, you've probably seen your grandmother do it, where in the salt shaker you've got some grains of white rice in there. And that helps the salt from getting clumpy, from attracting that moisture out of the air.
Right. Right. So that's actually kind of, and I don't even know if this is really accurate or not, but my assumption to that of why rice works is because, I'm making a complete assumption here. Maybe a cook would answer this for me, but rice is a carbohydrate. So carbs will attract water, and so it's pulling the water out of the salt so that the salt doesn't clump. But that kind of segues into why you need electrolytes on a low carb or a ketogenic diet, because you're not taking in carbohydrates, so your body's not going to retain fluid. You're going to go to the bathroom a lot.
Right.
Those electrolytes are going to follow that water out of the body.
Right. So you're burning your glycogen stores when you stop taking in the carbohydrate. And glycogen, each gram of glycogen holds between 2 and 4 grams of water, depending on who you talk to. So that is going to be flushed out. As the glycogen is used up, that water is going to be flushed out through the kidneys, and that is when you get that dehydration effect. And the problem with that is that then the salt and the balances between those starts to get skewed. And you talked about our daughter talking about a little bit of a headache. So salt gets excreted. And then when you have an imbalance of sodium and potassium, which is what we're talking about, that can actually lead to fatigue and headaches and fainting and if it's bad enough, loss of consciousness. So that becomes that balance point.
Yeah, and you were talking about replacing salts. Like, I think what we see a lot of times in videos about keto and we see replace salt, don't feel bad about salting your food, but you only hear about salt. Well, that is not the only electrolyte that your body needs.
Right. I mean, you do need that balance is important, and salt is probably the major one, but you do need, potassium and chloride and calcium, magnesium. All those kind of things. Now, most people say that calcium, look, you get enough calcium if you're eating any greens and things like that, and even to some extent magnesium as well. Plus we've got calcium in our bones and calcium. There's a lot of calcium stored in our bodies. So, but definitely, sodium, potassium, magnesium are probably the top things that you need to make sure that you're getting that level.
Right. And so there's different ways to put electrolytes into your body, right? I think the popular public ones we think of as Gatorade. And however, we don't recommend Gatorade because, well, for one, it's full of chemicals. For two, it's either have sugar in it or artificial sweeteners in it. And those aren't things that you want to be putting into your body.
No.
And unfortunately, Pedialyte is also, if you read the ingredients on Pedialyte, it's been a while since I do, but they do have hidden sugars in there the last time I looked at it. So what we use in our house, and we use this every single day, the two of us, is Endure electrolyte supplement, because it is just purely the electrolytes that we feel our body needs. Magnesium, potassium, sodium, and chloride.
Right.
And we put literally 12 drops. You put a little bit more, but because you are too impatient to wait for 12 drops to come out. In the morning and sometimes at the night too. Magnesium is great. Also, I always talk about it as mellow magnesium. So it kind of mellows out muscle cramps, helps you sleep. So you can use this right before bed as well.
Yep, and I take that a lot of times, either before or after I played hockey.
Yeah.
I sweat a lot doing that. And we talked off camera about the Gatorade, which came up. I mean, everybody probably knows the story of Gatorade. It was the University of Florida, the Gators, and they put together this concoction. Now I remember we didn't have it on our sideline in the 70s, mid 70s when I was playing football, but we did have this giant tub of salt tablets that they would come out, in the middle of practice, and everybody grab a handful of these things. And then 10 minutes later, we're all heading to the bench because we're like dying of thirst.
Yeah,
and
pure salt.
Just pure salt. Oh my, I can remember the taste of it.
Yeah.
But and they were huge. And it was a big container.
Yeah.
But that, things that, luckily, right, science and nutrition has caught up with that a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
Now we just need 12 drops of a slightly salty mixture, and we're good to go.
That's good to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, hey, I hope that helps with your understanding of staying hydrated on your ketogenic diet and why you need electrolytes. Endure, if you're interested in that, we'll leave a link to our affiliate shop. Other than that, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you watched, please subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back soon with another video.
Yep, we'll see you.
Thanks. There are they're fairies. Did you know that?
Fairies. Wow.